So I think that I couldn't articulate it in a way that my peers or even most of my leaders could understand. The idea was that I just had like a strict dad, but it was more than that in my household. When I was in middle school, I met Wendy. She was a youth leader who was full of life. She just began to serve a pivotal role in my life. There were lots of times where I didn't have a ride home. I lived on the other side of town from where church was, and so Wendy would drive out of her way. And so I could stay and be a part of whatever the event was. And then she would drive 30 minutes to my house and drop me off, and then drive 30 minutes back. Wendy hosted my 16th birthday party at her home, which was more of a gift than I think she knew, like a safe atmosphere, a happy atmosphere. I began to share with her about my home life. The fact that she couldn't personally relate, it didn't make it any less real to her. She was still able to really be heartbroken with me. There was some risk involved there for her to get in the trenches and get that involved in my family when she knew that it wasn't always a safe place to be. My dad was not physically abusive, and I think that almost in some ways, if I had had bruises and cuts, then maybe it would have felt justifiable to feel the way that I felt. But I didn't have the evidence of the abuse that was happening on the inside. While, he didn't hit us, he threw things, he screamed, he cussed, and he would ball his fists up, and his body language would say that he wanted to hit us. It made being at home terrible, but then he also made leaving terrible. As I got older, what had been a mentor-style relationship began to morph into a friendship. When I got married, Wendy stood with me as my matron of honor. We raised babies together. We served together as peers, as leaders in different avenues in the church. In 2013, things with my dad really escalated. So my mom was concerned, and she and my sister came and stayed at my house. And on Sunday morning, we all went to church, and my dad showed up in the middle of the first service. He was not well. I was sitting beside my mom in the sanctuary when he came and sat down beside us, and I could just feel her whole body tense up. She got up and walked out, and I went out behind her. Then my dad came out, and I came face to face with him in the hallway, and I remember he said, "Come on, Jennifer, I'm not gonna hurt her." And I just stood there and looked at him, scared to death that he would hurt her. So my dad left the church, and he drove to my mom's work, and he took his life in the parking lot of my mom's work. All through the weekend, with everything that was happening with my dad leading up to his death, I had been texting Wendy and, here's what's going on. Please pray, for me. I don't know what to do. As that day came to a close, I just started having a physical response to the trauma, and I went to bed. And when I woke up several hours later, Wendy was sitting crisscross on the floor. She didn't want me to be alone. She didn't want me to wake up and somebody not be there. The amount of time that she sat on my bedroom floor so that when I opened my eyes, somebody safe and trusted would be there. What she left undone at her home, I don't know. She had kids at this time, what needed her attention that she left and just sat there while I slept, served me in a way that I can't ever repay her. Wendy and I are still friends today. When we have a crisis in our family, she's the first person that I want to call and say, pray with me about this. And then also when we have a victory or a celebration in our family, I want to call her and say, celebrate with me about this. There are so many times when I could have become disconnected from my community at church. That was my safe place. That was my lifeline. If not for Wendy making sure that I could be at things and be included, I don't think I will ever have the words to express how grateful I am for the role that she's played in my life. I don't know if I'd be serving the Lord today without Wendy. I don't know that I'd be singing on a worship team right now. I don't know that I would be working in ministry alongside my husband. I don't know if my daughter would be on a missions trip. I don't know if Lily would be working with kids. All of the what ifs, if not for her investment. And I just believe that when I get to heaven, anything that I've done for the kingdom, anyone that I've been able to minister to, is due to her legacy that she placed in my family. For all of us, there's somebody that we can be investing in. There's somebody that we can check on. There's somebody that we can be involved in their life. There's somebody that we can be that root, that tug that keeps them involved in community and church and keeps them rooted. There are ways that all of us can, just one small thing at a time, one yes at a time, one action at a time, be a Wendy in someone else's life. I don't know if anyone went up to her and patted her on the back and told her she was doing great work and that all the investment with me was going to be worth it, or I don't know that there was any accolade at all. But that had nothing to do with why she did it, and it didn't inform whether she would keep doing it. It changed my life.